Hello, I'm Atul Singh, founder, CEO and editor-in-chief of Fair Observer. I'm here to do four things. First, to tell you a bit about my career. Second, tell you some of my lessons that I have taken from changing trajectories. Third, I am here to tell you about my mentors. And fourth, I'm here to share my vision for the future. Now, who am I? Well, I ran away from home at 17. I was a useless student. I rocked up in the University of Lucknow, didn't do very well, studied English literature and history, graduated, fiddled around, got involved in activities like debating and sports, and somehow managed to clear the civil services exam. Then I was an IPS officer. I served in Nagaland. I went for some attachments in Kashmir. I had a jolly good time playing sport, which my mother had never allowed when I was young. And sport wasn't enough to keep me in the IPS or the Indian Police Service. And I quit and I left for Oxford. I was the Radhakrishnan Scholar at Oxford. I studied philosophy, politics, and economics. It was infernally hard, the hardest thing I've done. I had to work a lot, but I learned a lot. So not all hard things are terrible to do. From Oxford, I came out, I went to corporate law. I worked in London. I worked for Freshfields, Brookhouse, Derringer, which is an old law firm, supposedly magic circle. And I got bored with corporate law. It's a lot of paperwork, and I am not particularly patient. So off I went to Wharton. I did an MBA. I did a triple major in entrepreneurship, finance and strategy. Sounds like a big deal, but actually it was a piece of cake after Oxford. And then I started Fair Observer. And what is Fair Observer? Well, it's a non-profit that focuses on informing and educating the global citizen of today and tomorrow. So we are in the education and media space. Think of us like The Economist, except that we have multiple perspectives on issues that matter, and we provide you context on those issues. So now you know a bit about me. Let's talk about my lessons from changing trajectories. Now, the first thing I would say is be ready to fall on your face. And after you fall, get up, get right back up. Because it's not the fall or how hard the fall that defines you. It is the speed and energy and will with which you get up that defines you. So be ready to fail. Fail big, fail fast, as a chap in Silicon Valley says, and learn, keep learning. Take chances, find your passion, and once you find your passion, work very hard at it. Kill yourself every day. I have a friend who won some medals at the Olympics who said, Atul, everyone wants to win on the day of the race. It is the chap who wants to win every day in training who's going to actually win. Think for yourself. That is slightly useful. Have good friends and mentors to side with you when the chips are down, and trust your instinct. Too often in the modern world, we let the external, or what in Indian philosophy we call Maya, get the better of us. So I would say focus on yourself, perhaps meditate, perhaps do yoga, or yoga as the foreigners or the Westerners say, and find your core. And once you do learn from the outside world, but don't be swayed by the Maya that the outside world throws at you. So much so for lessons that I have learned. The role of my mentors, who have been my mentors. When I was in university, there was a professor called Nishi Pandey. She was dynamic. Thereafter, I came to Oxford. Thereafter, I went to the IPS, and Aditya Mishra was a great mentor. He's a pretty good officer. Jayant Sinha, whom I got to know later, also developed into a mentor. He's not in the Indian Police Service. He's not an accounts officer. After that, I rocked up to Oxford and I met Michael Hart, who was pretty tough. He would tell me that my writing was absolutely useless. And he told me, Atul, my dear chap, when you look back at 80, you will say, that chap Hart, he gave me a tough time, but it was good for me. And yes, Michael was pretty good for me. I came out of Oxford and I ran into a chap called Paul Bowden, and thereafter David Eisenberg. They were good mentors. Thereafter, I had a couple of Germans who mentored me, Wolfram Nolte and then Dirk Lute. And now I would call John Blake and Scott White, two Washington, D.C. lawyers, as my mentors. Now, there are others I am leaving out because I can't go on till tomorrow. But these are the key people that come to my mind right now. And the whole point of mentors is that they are a sounding board. They are people who can advise you. They have life experiences. And they can tell you when you are flying too high like Icarus, and you're getting close to the sun, and they can tell you when you're down in the dumps and you don't realize your own potential and you're underperforming or underestimating yourself. So mentors keep you on an even keel, and an even keel for anyone who has ever sailed would know is an essential thing to sail through life. So keep an even keel as much as you can. Now, finally, what is my vision for the future? Well, my vision for the future is for Fair Observer to be a global media organization with credibility and with trust. And of course, I would like us to be big in the education space, go around, train people how to think critically, teach them the skills of communication, get them to collaborate, get them to be creative. Fundamentally, I believe that the media world is in crisis. In the US, you have 5 jobs in public relations for every job in journalism. And I believe good journalism is fundamentally education, which is why we go around doing education programs and getting voices from around the world and narratives across borders, backgrounds, and beliefs that have been shut out of the mainstream discourse on one platform. So our goal is to create some kind of a global discourse wherein people inform each other, wherein the funnel is really wide, but the filter is really strong. What do I mean by that? Anyone and everyone is welcome to write, but everything goes through an editorial filter. That means that when you come on Fair Observer, you get informed, you get educated, and perhaps you get inspired and you decide to inform others and educate others as well. So my vision for the future is that you would reach out to us to conduct educational programs. You will use our e-publications and e-books in your libraries, in your companies, in your organizations, in your non-profits, in your governmental organizations. My vision for the future is that those of you who are watching will read us weekly, if not daily. Those of you who are watching will donate, because independent media needs you to donate. If you don't pay, then you are the product. And you will follow us on social media and you will subscribe to our newsletter. And with that, I welcome all of you to be Fair Observers, to join the family and create a truly global discourse at a time when protectionism is on the rise, at a time when xenophobia is increasing, and at a time we have rising authoritarianism. With that, let us work to build bridges across borders, across communities, across ideologies, across philosophies, and across all kinds of divisions we see in the planet. Thank you very much. This is Atul Singh, founder, CEO, and editor-in-chief of Fair Observer.